And now, the show you've been waiting for. From Channels TV's global headquarters, it's The Other News. And here's your host, Okey Bakassi.
Thank you very much. I know you all missed me, and I missed you too. But I'm back. In fact, I feel like giving you something. Maybe some dollars will be okay. No, you think I can do it? Okay, yes, I can't. All right, welcome back to another exciting season of The Other News. The Other News is the only fake news show that keeps it real. Makes you laugh, makes all those bad people them change their channel. But who cares? My guest today is no stranger to the show. She is known for standing up for the downtrodden and marching for causes she believes in. But today, she is running for the highest office in the land. Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes, we chat with the formidable Dr. Oby Ezekwesili. Later in the show, we have special reports from our correspondents Binta Bhadmus and Dan the Humorous, who I suspect has been trying to defect. We also have a surprise addition to the show, which will be just moments from now. So stick around for all that and much more. A Greek philosopher once said, change is the only constant in life. And then another wise man added, but if una no get change, una go marry una self. Okay, I admit that wise man was a Nigerian bus conductor. But did he lie? No. Yes, change has been a constant feature in the life of our dear country. For example, around the time this program last aired, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun was Minister of Finance. Ayodele Fayose was Governor of Ekiti, and Senator Dino Melaye was recovering from a terrible ordeal.
I saw a tree and I climbed it. I was on that tree when I saw 4 of them passed. After a while, they passed again. I was in that bush, I was in that wilderness for 11 hours.
Wonderful, wonderful. I wish Nigeria as a whole could hide in that Dino's magical tree. It will save us from most of our problems. Anyway, today Mrs. Adeosun is no longer a minister. The wind or whistle blowing that she started finally blew her out of office and all the way to London, where another ex-minister welcomed her like this. Ayodele Fayose is no longer a governor, but he's still very much in the news. And Senator Dino Melaye seemed to have made a stunning recovery. Now, as we were saying, there have also been some groundbreaking changes in the political space. First, some APC chieftains defected to the main opposition party. The PDP was rejoicing and telling the APC people,
how can you reduce governance to Nollywood?
Clearly, the new APC national chairman was not finding it funny until some PDP heavyweights crossed to the APC side of life. And Osho Baba finally smiled. And it was the turn of PDP leaders to grumble. Guys, take heart. It's all part of change. After all, the Nigerian constitution says, first to do, no the pain. Second to do, I go red. Please don't quote me. I don't know where it is in the constitution. Still talking change. Baba Obasanjo said one thing about the PDP candidate, Atiku Abubakar. Then he changed his mind. Maybe that's why they brought spiritual backup, just in case. But come to think of it, Baba Shege once accused Atiku of acting against the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians. But it now seems he has forgiven Atiku on behalf of the whole Nigeria. Chai, Baba Shege. Baba Shege is a full country. But even with all of these changes, some things are still the same. The Naira-dollar exchange rate is still high. The price of crude oil has gone up. But the price of petrol at the filling station is still the same. Nigeria has gone from dreaming of a new national carrier to waking up from the fantasy. But please don't assume that the billions of naira spent on the projects have gone down the drain. At least, we still have a logo, a face cap, and a website out of it. At all, na bad pass. Anyway, Nigeria. This is a country where shapes, space satellites, and now entire airlines have disappeared into thin air. In Nigeria, the more things change, the more they seem to stay the same. But no matter who you support, don't be dismayed. Participate in the process and help Nigeria be a better place for all of us. Yeah, now in the spirit of change, the other news has added a new member to our team of correspondents. He's slimmer than the Humorous, taller than Binta Bhadmus, and almost as handsome as me, but not quite. Not quite. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our brand new special correspondent on one or two things. SLK in the building.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm glad to be part of the team. But I must correct you. You made a mistake. You just said special correspondent. You forgot to add for now. Yes, because my main goal and why I'm here actually is to be the presenter. So I believe that over time, that's my main aim, to be the presenter. Because you can't be on this seat forever. It's not as if someone cleaned the seat with hanky. I mean, that would be hanky-panky. I mean, this is why African leaders don't like to leave the throne. They just believe that nobody can dethrone them. But that's why I'm here. I'm here, and my main aim is to be the special correspondent.
You're a wise man. Yeah, you fit in here very well. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
I want you to last on the throne. So I'd like you to relax. Don't need to stress yourself. Just.
So what are you doing? This was.
Let me help you with the headline. Let me help you with the headline. Are you trying to
come and take my job? Behave yourself.
Come on. Are you trying to say I'm not too young to read? Come on.
Yeah, you're right.
Feel free. That's your cup of tea. That's your cup of tea. I'm going to take the headline.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, SLK, please.
President Buhari recently visited Lagos for the inauguration of the ECOWAS semi-border post. Yes, just for that. All the traffic, preparations, and Ambode's waist trainer, just for that. The Atiku Presidential Campaign Organization has described Alhaji Lai Mohammed as, wait for it, the high priest of APC liars. That's rude. That's absolutely unfair. That's very rude. That's like saying he's the priest of dishonesty. I mean, that's like saying he's the pope of misinformation. That's like saying he's the babalawo of falsehood. I mean, who says that? Who says all those? If Lai Mohammed has ever said anything wrong, it's because he was fed with the wrong information. And you know you're watching it. The Norwegian ambassador to Nigeria has disclosed that they are issuing more visas to Nigerians. This is to create more relationships, trades, and exchange. Exchange? To Norway? Exchange? From Nigeria? What can we possibly exchange? I mean, that's like me dating Genevieve and calling it an exchange. What am I exchanging? Bills, family problems, exchange to Norway. Norway. China's president has officially opened the longest bridge in the world. You can rest assured that that's one bridge that Nigerians will never cross when we get there. You know when they say we'll cross that bridge when we get there? We're not crossing this bridge. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your new presenter. Your new correspondent, SLK. Over to you, okay?
Thank you very much. She's been here before, a Nobel Peace Prize nominee, former vice president of the World Bank, former minister for education, and she's now formally declared her presidential ambition to rule this country. Ladies and gentlemen, she's also an activist on the Bring Back Our Girls campaign. Listen, you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about already. Please make some noise as I welcome Dr. Oby Ezekwesili back on the show, madam. We're excited to have you back.
Thank you, okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
Yeah, the last time you were on the show, We asked you about your presidential ambition, and you said something interesting.
I've been sort of trying to, look at my gene to see whether there's any bit of the political gene in me.
Yeah.
The morning I wake up and I find it, I would enter politics.
Where do you look at it now? Under your bed or where?
So that's a really good memory.
Yeah.
And, the way to put it is that political gene had to be found because I got to the point where I said it was either I did this attempt at fixing the quality of our politics, which is the reason that our governance is awful, or I would then simply join every other person and just wash my hands off and say, you know what, there's nothing that we can do about this country. Let's just accept it. The political parties that we're up against are political parties that exist for the interest of politicians. We are running a campaign that's about the interest of citizens. So we are the Citizens Party.
Hold your thought there. All right, it's getting more and more interesting. All right, we'll be back. Let's take a break. It's the other news. Yeah, welcome back. Back to my inspiring conversation with the aspiring president, Madam Due Process herself. Okay, Madam, yes, after the thumb printing comes the vote collation and counting and all that, and that is when the magic happens. Okay, that is when we go into some kind of Nigerian abracadabra, then you hear inconclusive. How are we planning to stop that in 2019? How are we, just to make sure you don't become a victim of one of such gimmicks?
So you normally hear the famous thing about structure. What structure do they have?
Yeah.
What they really mean is what people have bought into the ideology, the vision, the kind of desire for governance that you have. What has happened over the years is that our people have been beaten to submission and resignation.
Yeah.
And so they have come not to accept anything really more than mediocre from those that govern them. We are the party that's saying to our people, don't resign yourself to distress, despondency, and to despair to the point where you cheapen yourself and debase yourself. So what needs to happen is we give a content of messaging that makes the people realize that they actually are the power behind any democratic office.
So on election day, what do they do after voting?
So what they do is that we arm them with the tools. Your basic access to certain applications would enable you to capture what happens at the
Okay,
at
let me not let you give away your strategy here on TV because I'm sure they are also listening. Everybody's listening. Let's leave that for now. You agree with me that politics is very expensive. How are you funding? I know you're from the grapevine that you're doing people funding. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a situation where the economy is so harsh and people are so dissatisfied with how things are being done, how are they responding to this?
The response is tentative. And, but one thing that we have seen is massive goodwill. There are different social and networks that exist already. And those networks are all over the country. And those kinds of networks, when they say to you, you can leverage our existence as a basis to do the things that you would normally have to find people and pay them money for. So partnership is a very important resource for us. Okay. And then when you look at the power of goodwill, for example, there are so many people who, when they declared to run for office, did not get the massive goodwill that we have been able to receive, both domestically and internationally. So politics is not an investment for me. It is rather something that all of us want to see good governance. Then when we find quality people who want to serve, we must take a stake
and encourage and become stakeholders. Are you looking at forming alliance with other parties? towards achieving this?
It is something that would necessarily happen. I think that we would get to the place where there is a very strong demarcation between the APC-PDP and the...
Now, you always say APC-PDP and you say they are one, you hold them responsible for the sorry state of the nation. But other people will say you were part of the PDP government. So how can you completely distance yourself from...
Well, you know, that's a matter of fact that I was a minister under the PDP administration. What you cannot contest is that I was a minister that was driven by the noble objectives of serving the people. If you looked at the things that I was responsible for, whether it's the due process, that is the Bureau for Public Procurement, it was for good governance. If you looked at NEITI, the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, it was for good governance. If you looked at what we did in the Ministry of Minerals, especially the new legislation that took away the discretionary powers of a minister to just be given licenses, it was for good governance.
Okay, fine.
What I did in education
no problem.
was for good governance.
We'll save some of these things for the...
you don't want me to...
That list can go on.
You say, I just parried it.
We are aware of your record. We are aware of your record in service, and it has been outstanding. That is not even... We can't question that. Before I let you leave, what do you think about the executive order?
That executive order. You know, frankly speaking, the way to fight corruption is not to be extrajudicial. You can't do that in a democracy. The comprehensive ways of fighting corruption, the preventive measures that make opportunities for corruption to reduce in the society, the sanctions measure, legislation, law and its enforcement, and then the judiciary. Those systems exist for you to fight. So what I think is that the government has to be careful. It needs to follow the due process of the law as a basis for fighting corruption, so that it doesn't end up making the best the enemy of the good.
Thank you so very much, madam, for making time to be on this show. We look forward to talking to you again. It's always exciting to have you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please one more time, put your hands together for... Yes, it's still the other news. Don't go anywhere. Political party conventions are serious business in Nigeria. In fact, a lot of actual business happens at these conventions. Our correspondent, Binta Bhadmus, explores some of the party tricks that have occurred. And it seems that the more you look, the more you see. Over to you, Binta.
It all began with a motivational address.
To urge us all to conduct ourselves, our wards, and our constituencies with uttermost sense of fairness, justice.
They told the people of Osun mandate on TV, but we've already gathered all our evidences. We have packed it, and I will see them in court.
And peaceful coexistence. Such that we will have not only hitch-free elections, but also a credible and violence-free process.
Nothing like the peace and quiet of gunshots. So, in line with the president's fair, just and peaceful directive, the pre-convention Owambe season saw the third force standing together in unity.
In the Alliance for New Nigeria, the All Progressives Congress and the Young Progressive Party gather in this hall to elect a consensus presidential candidate under the supervision of the former Minister of Education, Mrs. Oby Ezekwesili.
United we stand. Of course, unless all of you are unitedly standing on a one-legged table.
It's a transparent system. It's a system of integrity and a system that delivers excellence.
Duro Toye's emergence doesn't seem to sit well with some members of the party, as his rival for the position, Mr. Benga Hashim, is visibly absent.
And as for those of you who are worried about Mr. Mogalo, you need not be worried. The man says he's fine.
I don't think I will be frustrated with this. Let me tell you why. I love Nigeria. I love our people.
Aww, we love you too, Mr. Romantic. Moving on. While the third force was breaking into fourth, fifth, and sixth forces, the two usual suspects prepared their party's unconventional political Owambe. And the chief party planners insisted that their party was the most turned up.
The APC-led government and the president has the lowest job approval rating recorded in recent times.
Monopolized power for 16 years at the federal level and bleed the economy for 16 years.
Why so shady? So back to my gist. At the end of the turn-up, the umbrella-carrying party presented their candidate. And the party that likes to sweep represented a familiar face. I am tired though. See, only me attended all these parties. And thanks to traffic, I still missed many others. But the real party is in February of 2019. And all Nigerians above 18 can pick up their invites. If you want to party with me, go and pick your PVC. For the other news, I am Binta Bhadmus.
Our correspondent, Dan the Humorous, gives us the score on the state of professional football in Nigeria in just a moment. The other news special correspondent, Dan the Humorous, now takes a look at the professionalism in the Nigerian Professional Football League.
Nigeria, a footballing nation. And one of the parameters of a footballing nation is a vibrant domestic league. In 2013, the Nigerian Domestic League rebranded to the Nigerian Professional Football League. Key word that took our interest is the word professional. So, we begin to wonder, when you hear the word professional, you hear TV rights. You think of sponsorships, you think of shirt deals, players flying chartered planes, juicy transfer fees. But is that really the situation? I took our time to talk to a few stakeholders in the game. Club administrator Godwin Enakena, sports journalist Nnamdi Obayan. Let's find out if, indeed, the game is really living up to that name, professional. Namo, thank you for coming through. Now let's go straight to the dish. Since 2013, has the league lived up to that caption, professional?
I think the name is to kickstart professionalism, not because there's anything professional about it right now. But honestly, no. No, I'm not really sure, no.
This is Nigeria. Let me start by giving credit to whom it is due. There's a young man called Shehu Diko. He's the chairman of the league management company. That means he runs the league in Nigeria. But I tell you, the man is standing in front of the moving train.
Like every other professional football league around the world, there is definitely provision for television rights. So how much has your club earned from TV rights?
Right now, there's no TV. But I do know that Shehu Diko and his team are doing a wonderful job trying to get new TV rights sponsors for the league.
No, we don't even get one weekend's quota of matches all season. So no, there's no TV rights structure.
What is the outlook when it comes to transfer fees or weekly salary?
The transfer fee, if you're buying the players, it's just like you're going to buy a car. You have to pay for the car to have the car.
Outright?
Yes, outright. You pay.
Okay, so
you can,
are they in that large volume?
But a lot of...
For 20 million.
A lot of these things are started in secrecy. You know why? To protect the Nigerian players.
I don't want to jump the gun because I'm not even sure what our transfer policy is in Nigeria or if we have a transfer window. What we hear cases of teams decamping or dropping 30 players and bringing on 20. So I don't know. The transfers are shrouded in mystery. So we don't even have an open transfer policy that I can tell you this is the average transfer.
So in the absence of transfer window, there should be a transfer door.
or corridor. You know, maybe it just keeps stretching.
Transfer corridor.
It just keeps happening and happening.
Just the waka they go.
It just keeps going on.
What can you do, or what should be done to make me prefer an Agege versus Kwara United to leave Lekki to come to Agege than to sit down and drink beer with my friends to watch Chelsea and Man U?
First and foremost, let government hands off running of football and sports, 100%. Right now, it's 120% by government. 17 clubs are run by state government. The 3 that are there are facing frustration.
The government needs to step away from clubs. If the government wants to do anything for clubs, they can do long free letting or at least minimal lease on stadium and facilities and let people invest and run their clubs. Anybody who is investing in businesses, give them tax breaks, do government things, give incentives to make corporate bodies come in. But if you yourself are a player in that field, nobody wants to compete with the government.
And here I was thinking that the word professional will solve all problems. I was about to suggest that INEC should change from INEC to PNEC, Professional National Electoral Commission. NNPC should change to NNPPC, Nigerian National Petroleum Professional Corporation. In fact, the political parties should change to PDPP, People's Democratic Professional Party, or APPC, All Progressive Professional Congress, for things to go right. Not knowing that the people who have professional also have issues to deal with. But like Mr. Inakena said,
if you face Nigeria, everything will be okay.
That's right. Let Nigeria work and everything will follow. My name is Dan the Humorous. Back to you, brother Okembe. Cheers.
This brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you to our viewers, old and new. You can find the Other News content online on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Other News CTV. We are always 1 or 2 or more clicks away. If you would like to be part of our studio audience, call the numbers on your screen. The work of fixing the country is in our hands. If you think you're too small to make a difference, try spending a night with a mosquito. My name is Okey. See you next week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.